you guys have held leads before. You've shut down in the third period before. How much of this is just, you can do it and you just got to get back to some of the details that you got to take care of?
Yeah, what I would say is certainly there's moments in those third periods that we know we can be better in. So where do we go from there? Do we learn from them and use it as an opportunity to get better? So that when games, you get down into the month of May and month of June, that games get closed out. That's what the hope is, but we got to see it. We got to make sure that we're managing certain moments in games, and certainly we can be better. Nobody is running away from that.
It was a good, when you played Philly a couple weeks ago, it was a pretty good showdown between Skinner and Hart.
Yep.
Skinner says he's known him a long time and played against him. I know when you're caught up in the game, but there's an interesting story there with how long these guys have known each other, and they've kind of come up together.
Certainly, I understand your attraction to that question. I would say that I'm interested in the battle between the Flyers and the Oilers tonight.
Hey, Jay.
Hi.
Sounds like Vincent Trocheck has had an eventful last couple of days being sick. He said he spent 12 hours in Bakerfield, lost his equipment, coming back. Just a thought on, he understands the situation. He knows he wasn't demoted because of how he plays. It's just the way the system works. I guess how important is it for a young guy to realize that when it's not what you've done, it's what we're doing type thing?
Yeah, I think that's when you have an open, direct, two-way communication. People understand, and good news is he's here today and ready to play.
How much did you guys miss him on the back end there?
Well, I think the record with him in the lineup speaks for itself. I think in the last 3 games, which he has not played, we've dressed 6 defensemen, and we've given up more goals than we like to give up. And I think when he comes into the lineup, he provides a certain dimension, including really good defensive play where he's hard below the dots. He makes it hard to get to our net. And we're excited about returning him to the lineup tonight.
You obviously know him really well. He doesn't seem rattled by all that happened. He said he sat at the airport last night for 9 hours or something like that, waiting for his flight to come home from Calgary. I guess what kind of guy is he? And just of his makeup, he just seems like he's such a calm personality.
Yeah, he's a good-natured, mature, comfortable in his own skin, somebody who is, I would characterize as a great teammate.
Okay, got a math question for you here.
Sure.
Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, top 2 leading scorers in the league all season long. At 5-on-5, their goal share together is less than 50%. Mm-hmm. Can this team get to where it needs to be defensively if those 2 players are getting scored on 5-on-5 more than they're scoring?
Well, they also play a lot of minutes, so we're asking them to carry a huge workload, specifically when we go to 11-7. I think, can we get there? Yeah, we've proven it in the past that we can get there. We've had good stretches. This last little segment of 4 games or so, we're not where we are as a team. But as a team, we can be better.
Right. Do you... the other math on this thing is your team is much stronger when they're not on the ice this year than it's been in the past 3 or 4 years. I'm sure you've seen those stats, or Bob's.
Yep.
Is that a sign that when things are normal and your top guys are playing well and everyone's playing well, you're getting close to the team you want to be, a team that doesn't get scored on enough to succeed in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think it's a really positive sign, and almost a counter narrative to how our team has been described over the years here. When you see the depth scoring and the depth contributions, that's a really positive sign for our team. I wouldn't discount the workload we're asking some of our high-minute forwards to play. That's a lot, and we're doing it. And since I think the beginning of January, the record with 11-7 is what the record with 11-7 is. But can we be better? Yes, we can be better. I don't yet believe that we've fired on every cylinder just yet.
Okay, last one for me.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be a smart guy here.
No, not at all.
If you're saying to us that you have got probably a stronger team underneath all your depth guys and everything this year than in the past, the stats show that, and the workload for your top guys is something we need to consider. If their stats aren't where they need to be, why don't you play your top guys a little bit less and play your bottom guys a little bit more?
Well, that's a good question. Now, you might also ask on the counter side of that, Mark, maybe the minutes distribution that we are playing helps some of those lower minute forwards get the results that they're finding. Maybe. I think you certainly see that's on the back end when we dress 11 and 7. That's when the minutes get spread out amongst the many on the back end. It brings some people's minutes down. But some defensemen in that kind of look were real happy with where they're at. In the last 3 games, with 6 defensemen, we've given up a lot more goals than we want to in that situation. So there's a whole bunch of factors in that way. Am I worried about, our look? I would say we haven't fired on all cylinders yet. We've had some good segments this year, some areas we can be better, and we're working on a daily basis to make sure that we're going to be ready for Game 83.
Jay, the one line that you kept together the most, and with 11 forwards, it's obviously hard, was the McLeod, Fogle, Janmark trio. And, Janmark had a stretch with Costa, Nugent Hopkins, and they were pretty good. Do you see similarities at all in those 2 trios? And what have you liked from Fogle, McLeod with Janmark?
Yeah, I do see similarities. That line with Costin, Janmark, and Nugent Hopkins was something we kind of kept together there for a while. I thought they gave us good minutes, but with Costin being out over the last little while, it's allowed us to try and move other people around. I think we found something with Warren, Ryan, and Matthias there. I think they've given us really good minutes there. I thought that was one of, I know Janmark hasn't played for Colorado, but that was one of his best games, even though it was against a team that he didn't play for. I think Matthias makes people around him better. He's a veteran player. He knows how to play the game. And I think Warren has really given us something here. He should feel good about where his game is trending. And Ryan, when he plays the way he's been playing, gets his nose dirty. That's the makings of a good line.
And it's one game, and it's a massive small sample size. But Devon Shore held on to the puck more in that game than maybe that I'd seen in any other game this year. He went down to the minors, played 5 games, played a lot, had 5 points. Do you see the correlation of a guy who just maybe suddenly has some confidence with the puck, and did you notice that? Yeah,
I did notice that. So very happy for Devon because he's a great teammate. The situation that he was in, especially when we went 11 and 7, meant that a lot of the times he was not going into the lineup. So anytime you can go down and develop a little bit of confidence from just playing and playing a lot and gaining ice time and getting puck touches, I think it's fantastic. So he came up. I saw it actually in a couple of the practices before he went down. And he came up with a purpose. He gave us some good minutes. He got bumped up the lineup in the 3rd period. I felt good with him on the ice.
And coming off of an extended injury again for Yamamoto. Seems a lot of guys, it takes a while to get back up to speed. He's played over 50 minutes in both those games. I'm guessing part of that was for you to get him up to speed.
Yeah.
Where do you see his game at, and is there anything you want him to improve on specifically?
Yeah, well, I think he's finding that when you miss that amount of time, especially as the schedule moves along, the game gets faster. So he's coming in with, 27 games left in the regular season. Points are at a premium for every team. He saw the Rangers and Colorado, 2 of the best teams in the league. He's seeing that the clip that teams are playing at is pretty high paced. You're right, we want to get him up and running. I thought he gave us some contributions in both games. I think for him to continue to gain confidence on the offensive side is important. I saw him all over the chances for, specifically in the Colorado game. You know, if he can find a way to contribute in that manner, I think it will pay a lot of dividends for him personally and for the team.
Jay, sorry, I just want to ask you if you had an update on Dylan Holloway getting hurt.
Yeah, Dylan was getting seen by doctors yesterday in Bakersfield. I don't have an update for you.